House magazine, you will have noticed, you could not have missed her, the stunning blonde on the front cover. And you may have flicked through to the pictorial, which shows the cover girl in all her glory. And maybe you thought she's a pretty good sort. Many people did. And if you were one of those people, then this next story may embarrass you. It certainly caused some red faces at Penthouse magazine.
Well, I was over at a girlfriend's place, and the editor of Penthouse was a friend of hers, and he saw me and asked me if I'd like to do a few shots.
And with that seemingly innocent invitation, the editor of Penthouse magazine had opened a massive can of worms. You see, Julia Summers hasn't always been a girl. Up until her sex change operation in 1983, she was most definitely a man, at least in the biological sense.
I think I look like a woman. I think I do. I suppose my body looks like one. I'm not too sure. I suppose I'll have to leave it up to you to see what you think, if it looks like it or not. I mean, I'm not in there to be a woman. I'm just in there to be me, I think.
Julia told the editor of Penthouse about her secret, but not until the magazine was printed.
And he was quite shocked, really set back, actually.
What did he say?
He didn't believe it at first, and then he just kept on saying, "Oh, really?" And he sort of kept, you know, looking at me, but wasn't too sure. It was a bit sceptical, I think. He wasn't too sure. I wasn't there to fool him or anything, but I just thought I'd better, because I knew someone would ring up and say something.
Do you have any regrets for what you did in Penthouse?
Oh, no, not at all. I thought it was a hoot. It was really, it was fun. It was just something different to do.
What you've done is played a pretty nasty trick on what is essentially a men's magazine.
Well, I don't think I played a trick. I mean, I can't take this all off afterwards and show my real self, because this is my real self. It's funny because I never ever thought of millions of men looking at me in a magazine until the other day when a girlfriend of mine said, "Do you know that all these men are going to be looking at you?" And I said 90% of them, or maybe 50%, won't even know that, you know, what you were or what you are. And I said, it doesn't click to me, because I don't think of me as being any different. I mean, walking down the street I get stares, so I suppose it just doesn't occur to me. My grandmother rang up and said, "Oh, I really like the photos, they were really nice." She said,
your grandmother?
That my grandmother said it, I couldn't believe it. And she was quite happy about it, said I looked very pretty.
And if you're thinking Julia is the exception to the rule and no other transsexuals look as good as her, think again. She says there are plenty more where she came from.
Hundreds. I mean, there's prominent business women, there's models I know that haven't made it here, so they've had to go over to America. There's girls that are in just shopkeepers and checkouts, and there's other girls that have, you know, just working, that could be right next to you, and you would never ever know.
Funny looking bloke. Gee, it's amazing, isn't it? Not a bad effort either, fooling a photographer and a magazine into believing she was all woman. Needless to say, Penthouse isn't commenting today, and our thanks to House of Merivale for those fashion shots. And in case you're still wondering, we do have medical proof that Julia was born a man.